And we're live.
Hello, welcome back. This is our fourth video out of 5 for the Pocahontas Chamber of Commerce Legacy series. And tonight we're going to do a pretty quick and easy recipe. It's actually a white bean chili. Now, I was expecting the weather to be a little bit colder and it's quite warm today, but I'm actually using my Instant Pot, which is great because it doesn't generate any heat. Now, the chili recipe I'm making, I am using a pressure cooker, but you could use a slow cooker or you could just cook it on your stovetop and that would be fine too. But what I'm showing you is just here in my Instant Pot. I also like it because it has a saute function, and so I'm going to start by sauteing jalapeno and onion, and I don't have to do that in separate dishes. If you're slow cooking though, just throw it all in and you don't have to do the saute part of it. It adds a little bit more flavor, but it's okay if you don't have it. So I did a little bit of prep work, and this part you'd probably have to do before you made the recipe, but otherwise it comes together really fast. So I chopped some onion and jalapeno, a pound of Yukon Gold potatoes from our garden, which is really exciting, and then that was it. I used garlic, just jarred garlic is all I had on hand right now. You could use fresh garlic. I wish we had that in the garden, but we don't. And then there will be some spices and seasonings that you can incorporate later. So to get started, we will saute the onion and the jalapeno. So I've chopped that, just kind of a fine chop here. And I heated up the Instant Pot a little bit, so it's kind of coming to heat. Oops. Now I'm using the back of my knife here so that I don't dull it. That's good practice, is not to use your knife to be scraping. And probably not to run your finger along there either, but that's okay. So we'll just give that a stir. Now what I could do right now is add a little bit of salt, and the salt would help draw out the moisture in the vegetables. But, ooh, I'm not going to. Stand back as you saute jalapeno because it will get pretty spicy. So, wow, excuse me, I'm getting the fumes. It's also a jalapeno and an onion from our garden, so it's quite fresh. If you didn't like jalapeno, you don't like spicy chili, just leave it out. This was one really, the jalapeno is like this big. So it's just a small little one. But again, you can omit it. I'm also adding green chilies, a hot can of green chilies, again, which will add heat. We really like spice. And then we're also going to be adding salsa. Again, if you don't like heat, you can change that. Don't add the green chilies, don't add the jalapeno, or even just get like a mild salsa. But this recipe is using a green salsa just because it's a white bean chili. Should say, I went to the store and wanted to get white beans for this recipe. I typically buy them in bulk and cook them myself, and unfortunately there was no white beans. So I'm using pinto beans, which is great because you can modify it, right? If you don't have a certain bean on hand, just use something else. So pinto is what I'm going to be using, even though it's a white bean chili, and that's okay. So once this softens a little bit, you'll see the onions begin to turn translucent. And again, I've mentioned this in my previous video, that I don't use any oil to saute, and nothing is sticking. I could add a little bit of water if it starts to, but it's browning really nicely. Okay, and then once that's just about done, we're going to add the garlic. There's about 3 cloves here. I'll just dump that in. If you don't like the strong flavor of garlic, you can add it a little bit sooner. But if you like more garlic flavor, add it near the end of when you're sauteing because it'll help the flavors. It won't dilute the flavor as much, you could say. Okay, then we're adding some spices, which is cumin, oregano, salt, and pepper. If you don't like to add salt to your food, that's okay, you can omit it. In fact, it would probably be okay to omit it too because you're going to be adding salsa, and if you add green chilies, there's flavor in that, so feel free to omit. Okay, I stirred that around just a second more, and now I'm going to add potatoes. I'm excited about potatoes from our garden. We actually have them just in a big storage bag downstairs. I don't know if you know this, but if you grow potatoes, you can actually keep them in a... Avery, I might have you grab me my water. I need to... It's getting a little sticky. Thanks. You can store your potatoes in a... what is it? Burlap? Is that what it is? It's like an old coffee bag. We actually have a really, really big burlap bag that we're storing our potatoes in, so hopefully that'll last us quite a while. And add a little more water here while I saute. And then I'm pretty much going to dump everything else in. So I'm going to add a little bit cornstarch to this recipe to help thicken things. I'm also going to turn my saute down a little bit. So, cornstarch. Now what you could do is mix your cornstarch right in with your vegetable broth, because I'm going to add 4 cups of vegetable stock. And instead of just dumping the cornstarch in kind of raw like that, you could mix it in with your stock first and that'd be okay. I'll stir that in and add my stock. Oop, went a little overboard. Don't pour too quickly, it might go crazy on you. Now, I actually made that stock from vegetable scraps, so that was a good way to be kind of resourceful in your kitchen, is if you have vegetable stocks like the ends of onions, or I don't use the peels because I'm not sure if the skins are bitter, but you can use that, or carrot tops, or peppers, even like herbs, cilantro or parsley, that would be nice too. Okay, enough of that. I'm gonna dump the rest in. So I have about a cup of corn here. I just use frozen corn. You could probably use a can, whether it be a whole can. That would be, if you use a whole can, it's probably like 1.5 cups, and this is just 1 cup, but use as much as you like. Some vegetables, and that's good. Okay, green chilies, like I said, if you don't like them, don't use them. They have mild and hot, and we're using hot because that's what we have, so we might regret it later, but I'm sure it'll be good. Okay, what else do we have here? I'm gonna add the beans. So again, I used pinto beans. This is what I got. I just drained and rinsed 2 cans of beans. It's about 3 cups total of beans. Pour that in, and the last thing is salsa. So this one, salsa verde, was on sale, so that's why I got it. But our very favorite green salsa is Mrs. Renfro's, but it's a hot salsa. So we like to eat it plain, and I think I would like it in here, but since this is on sale, I thought I'd give it a try. So that is what we were putting. The recipe I followed in the past says to add like 12 ounces of salsa. This one's like 15.5, and that's okay. If it's a little bit runnier, that I'll modify next time and reduce my vegetable stock. So once you have that, you just give it a good old stir, and it's ready. So I'm gonna do that. And now the Instant Pot, it takes 10 minutes on high pressure is all I'm gonna do. If you were doing it on the stovetop, you'd probably have to cook it for 30 minutes or so. You want your potatoes to be soft, so test them with a fork or a knife, and once they're soft, it's ready. Or at least to your whatever texture you like. In the slow cooker, you kind of follow suit and do, I would say, 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours on high maybe. Again, test your potatoes, and then, or you could do low for 6, 7 hours. So I'm just gonna kick it up, do high pressure cook for 10 minutes. And then we'll have supper in about 30 minutes. So what we're probably gonna do, I'll wait till that is being said. What we're probably gonna do when it's finished is add like Mexicans toppings like cilantro. We have actually cilantro outside growing on our patio, so we'll probably use that. Maybe avocado, lime juice would be really nice. Or eat what?
Chips.
Chips. Avery loves tortilla chips, so we'll probably have some chips along with our chili. So I hope you try this recipe. It's really quick and easy. And tune in next week for our final Wednesday in September. We're going to be making some pumpkin cookies, so I hope you'll tune in later. Thanks everybody. Bye.